I am here with the Cameo Wood and Alexa, and they are here representing Real Artist. Now, Cameo, tell me a little about the story and how it came about.
Well, the movie is about a young woman who is interviewing for her dream job at an animation studio, and then she finds out that it's not quite what she signed up for. So it's a science fiction film about the future of artificial intelligence in collaboration with AI.
Great. And what was your role in the production?
I was the producer. I was one of the first people to actually try and help her make sense of the script and start getting it in front of people. We've been friends for a really long time.
It's always good to work on passion projects with friends because, you know, they're reliable. Now, where did this story come from? Like, how did this pop into your mind to make a film like this?
I read the short story by Hugo and Nebula Award-winning author Ken Liu, and I thought it would be perfect for a short film, so I optioned it, and then Alexa and I sort of set off and started working on it.
Now, you guys have two leading ladies in it, Tamlyn Tamika and Tiffany Hines. Now, how did you guys secure those two ladies for the films?
I mean, initially, I think you had met Tamlyn Tamika, at another festival, and just... I mean, you actually know Cameo, and you know she's very charming, and she basically sweet-talked her and asked if she would ever want to work with her and told her about Real Artists. And so Tamlyn Tamika actually, from the very beginning, was one of the first people that we had attached. Like, before a DP, before other producers, it was pretty much me and Tamlyn, I think, for a while. But you should speak more about Tiffany.
So Tiffany Hines was our hardest one to hire. We actually only hired her about a month before production, and we went a more traditional route. We actually had to go through her agents, and we had to talk to her people and sort of organize it. But when she actually read the script, and she and I had a conversation, and we bonded over Game of Thrones, she was in. So that was perfect.
Very nice. And then you guys filmed in Oakland at the observatory in Oakland?
That's right. So we filmed we shot our film at the Chabot Space and Science Center in Oakland, California, and it was an amazing location, totally beautiful, and we're constantly getting compliments on this amazing high concept sci-fi location that we're just so lucky to get, and most people don't know it's just right in their backyard here in Oakland.
And what did you guys film on?
Do you want to answer?
You go ahead now.
So we decided to shoot on 35mm film, and we shot on a Panavision Millennium XL2 camera. So it was pretty awesome.
How was it shooting on film versus digital?
Mm-hmm. I think that shooting on film is a very exciting opportunity, because when you shoot on film, I think it elevates everyone's excitement. And it really brings everyone's A game much more than it does just not shooting on, a DSLR.
And is this your guys' world premiere?
Oh yeah.
Yay! And then where are you guys taking the film after this? You guys got any festivals you guys been in?
Where are we not taking it, Connie Jo?
Actually, so this weekend it's also going to be premiering in the UK in Manchester, and it's also going to be in 6 film festivals next weekend as well. But we're going to be staying here, and so right now we're already into 12 film festivals, so it's pretty exciting.
That's amazing. I'm super excited. Most of you don't know, but I'm actually in their film. But it was a great little short film. You guys should see it. It's called Real Artist. So I'm here with the producers and the directors of the short, is it short film or feature?
No, it's a feature film.
Feature film, The Valley. Now, tell us about the story, the synopsis, and how the story came about for you.
So The Valley is about an Indian-American entrepreneur who's very successful for all external purposes in Silicon Valley. He has a big house, cars, and he has a stay-at-home wife, 2 college-age daughters. And his younger daughter goes away to college, and a short time later she commits suicide. And so he's trying to find out what happened, and so he goes back and he's asking people, and sort of in his journey, we go along with him on his journey. And we find out a lot of truths that he finds out. So it's a bit of a commentary on modern life.
And it was all shot here in the Bay Area?
It was all shot in the Bay Area. And
Bay Area actors too?
No, actually the actors came from all over the world. The lead actor, Ali Khan, and Samina Pirzada came from Pakistan.
Okay.
The actress, brilliant, Suchitra Pillai, came from India. And a lot of the actors came from Los Angeles. Jake T. Austin, Agneta Takar, Salma Khan, Hope Lauren, and of course Krista B. Allen, Barry Corbin. They all came from Los Angeles. So we've had a mixed crew.
Great. Now, how did you get all these ladies involved in your production?
So Andrea and Sienna I knew from a long time ago, just through various walks of life. And Yumi, I actually looked for a producer for the movie, so that's how I met Yumi.
Yes, we need more women producers in the Bay Area. We definitely do. We just need more, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, women power right here.
That's what it is.
And is this your world premiere for the film?
It is the world premiere, yes it is.
And where do you plan on taking the film after this festival?
So we've been accepted into a couple of other film festivals. We're going to be in the Los Angeles Women's International Film Festival. And after the festival run, we want to do a release either theatrical, VOD, or combination of the two.
Great, ladies. Well, I look forward to seeing the film, and congratulations on your world premiere.
Thank you.
Thank you. So What If It Works is a featured film. Now, how did the story come about?
Well, it's a very personal film for me. So I guess it's kind of been a case of accidentally researching my whole life. One of the characters in the film, Adrian, who has OCD and who is a tech nerd, was based on the character of my brother. And he falls for a beautiful street artist called Grace, who has dissociative identity disorder, or also known as multiple personality disorder. So it's an impossible love story, colourful and improbable, but perhaps not quite impossible. So,
besides your life, what inspired you to actually put it down on paper and say, I'm going to make a film out of this?
Well, I'd worked in theatre and written plays for a long time, and I made a couple of short films that I wrote and directed, and so I think it was a natural progression probably from theatre to short film to finally making a feature film.
And where was the film shot?
It was shot in Melbourne, Australia, and Melbourne is quite iconic for its street art-filled, colourful, edgy kind of neighbourhoods. And Grace, being a street artist, obviously lives in a very colourful, cool, groovy neighbourhood. So it features a lot of Melbourne's coolest street artists.
And how was the casting process? Did you feel like you got the right cast for your film? And how was it working with them on set?
It was an interesting process. It was a mix of two, I guess, different formats. And one was our lead character, Luke Ford, who plays Adrian, our lead actor, I should say. I'd seen him in a couple of other films. He was brilliant in The Black Balloon, in Animal Kingdom, well-known Australian films, and Red Dog and other films. And I just was confident that he was the right man for the role, and that turned out to be the case, which is fantastic. And then for Grace, I think we literally auditioned every female aged 20 to 30 in Melbourne and Sydney, and she was really a well-known theatre actor, but not so much a film actor. So it was a really nice process of discovery, in contrast to sort of knowing Luke was right immediately. Watching millions of tapes was all worthwhile when we discovered Anna Sampson, who plays Grace.
Wonderful. And is this your world premiere?
It is my world premiere, yeah.
Congratulations. Cinequest is great. And then where do you plan on taking the film after this festival? Do you guys already have festivals lined up?
Yep, we do. Can't quite say just yet, but but there are other festivals lined up, and then ultimately an Australian release sometime later in the year. So, and then see what happens worldwide.
Great. Well, thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thanks so much.
Troy Campione, director of photography and editor and co-writer.
And I'm Selena Moreno. I am one of the actors in Remembrance.
I'm Will Laurier. I'm also an actor in Remembrance.
Okay.
And I'm Madison Campione. I'm the co-writer and director of Remembrance.
Now, since you are the co-writer, how did the story come about? And yeah, how did the story come about?
So my dad and I co-wrote the story. We were wanting to make a thriller because we both love thrillers, and we wanted to create something that was really fast-paced and interesting, and also made you want to get to know the characters and what was happening, and fit it together in a way that wasn't completely chronological. I think that was a big part of it. We wanted to show a lot of parts out of chronological order. So dispersed throughout the film, there's clips from the end, like what happens after the climax of the film, and it's interspersed throughout the film. And it makes more sense when we watch the film. So you should watch the film. But yeah, so we wanted to create it in an interesting way that you're watching it and you're like, I do not know what's happening, but by the end, everything comes together and you're like, whoa, staring at the screen like in awe. Like that's how I feel every time I watch it. So I hope other people feel that way too.
Very cool. Did you want to recap on that?
Like you have a Keanu Reeves moment, you go like, whoa, when you see this. Yeah, I want to say that Selena was cast as herself to play her sister, like Parent Trap, and which is so cool. A real challenge, you know, in editing, but we had a great makeup artist, and she pulled it off. She's just so awesome. So I just want to say that. Yeah.
And how did you portray yourself in the film?
The fun fact of this is that I am a twin, but I didn't know that that's where the story was headed until they had mentioned it to me once I was cast. So when that was the option, I was like, oh, okay, so I can definitely relate to it. So I kind of incorporated, obviously, myself individually being a twin in contrast to my twin sister. And the other role, we had her. I personally incorporated her own little traits into that character. So there was a dynamic in contrast for each female character. And so being that I was playing, I'm the same person playing both roles, it was cool that I have the experience of being a twin and kind of being able to channel that into the character. So.
And for you, sir, which role did you play and
Yes.
how did you get into your character?
I played Connor, co-star, and I've never really done a thriller before. I'm usually like doing comedies, and it was really fun. It was really fun to do something very different, and something very different than my personality. And I don't want to say too much more about him because you have to wait and watch it, but it was very intense, and it was really a lot of fun. Yeah.
And is this your guys' world premiere? At
Yes.
Cinequest? Wonderful.
Yes.
And is this your guys' first film that you two have collaborated on?
Yeah, father-daughter thing, first thing. She's been working with me since she was 10 on videos, you know, doing something, but she stepped up and was the director, which is a big deal. You know, I think she just grew and matured in our eyes in those days on the set, and happy for her.
Very cool. Well, thank you guys so much. I look forward to seeing the film. Yeah. So feature documentary, where did you get the idea to do this feature, and what is the story about?
So it's a story about two chefs in DC that struggle to open and maintain their first restaurants, and incredibly one of them becomes the most famous new chef in America. The whole thing started because one of the chefs is my brother-in-law, and he was interested in opening up a pizza restaurant, and I had tasted his pizza and I said, this is incredible. He's no joke. And when he decided that he was going to open his own restaurant and build it by hand with his father and mother and wife, I said, that sounds like an incredible film.
Build it by hand, you mean build the building by hand?
So they laid the brick, they laid the floors, they put in the ceilings, they did it all, yeah.
And you documented all of that?
Documented all of it for 3.5 years, actually, yeah.
3.5-year documentary. Wow, that's incredible. And are you getting free pizza now?
Yes. Every time I go, I get free pizza. And then the other chef is Aaron Silverman of Rose's Luxury. And I started filming with him when he was just doing pop-ups around town because I knew it was going to take Frank a long time to find a space. And so I just started working with him. Met his crew, and I thought they had something really special and different going on, and I said, let's do this. So I ended up filming with him from construction all the way through to the opening of his second restaurant, which is pretty unbelievable. The transformation of both the restaurants and the people is truly incredible, and to have one of them become the best new restaurant in America and then to win a James Beard Award for Best Chef Mid-Atlantic is it's every filmmaker's dream, and the more popular they became, the harder it was, you know, the more stress I had to make a great film because it had to kind of keep up. And there are some really amazing, very famous chefs in the film. Michelle Richard is in the film. Danny Meyer, who wrote Setting the Table, and Mike Isabella's in the film. He was a Top Chef All-Star, so it's got some big names in it too, which is exciting. So it was quite a journey, quite a journey.
Very cool. And do you normally do documentaries, or is this your first documentary?
This is my first documentary, but this has been my passion for a very long time. I've done a number of other short films and things, but this is what I've wanted to do forever, and it's been pretty amazing to be at the helm of my own film instead of working on other people's, where I learned so much. So it's amazing, and this is the first stop of many on our festival tour, and we're just thrilled to have thrilled to be here at Cinequest. It's pretty cool.
Great, and is this your first time at Cinequest as well?
It is absolutely, and the people are so unbelievably friendly and have been from the day that we were accepted, which was you feel so good when you get a nice letter from them, and it's multiple times a day they'll check in and make sure that everything's going well, and they'll answer questions the second you ask, and it's a really loving environment for filmmakers, and it's only just started, so we've been really enjoying it so far.
Great, well thank you so much for talking with us. Thank you.
Very much.
My name is Rukan Takesh. My film is The Circle, Havark. It's a short film. I'm the writer, director, and the producer of the film.
And how did the story come about as the writer? What inspired you to write this script?
Yes, that's my first film. I'm a human rights expert, actually. And this is a human rights story. And it's a real story. It's my father's story. And I had an accident, and I had to be stuck in the bed for a while. And this was the time that I decided to start writing. And I said, when I get healed, I would like to start shooting. So that's how it happened. And it's based on true story, my father's childhood. So that's how it came about.
So it's your first film you wrote, first film you've made, and you're at Cinequest.
Yes,
that's exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited.
And where was the film located? Where did you film?
I filmed in Turkey, in southeast Turkey. It's a town called Hasankeyf, 12,000 years old town actually. And end of this year, this town will be flooded by an hydroelectrical dam, water dam. So I wanted to shoot there because it's exactly the story I'm telling that the place is going through now. So it will be one of the last films that will be shot in this place as well. So yeah.
Now, is it more of a documentary?
No, it's fiction.
It is a fiction. Okay, great. And
but it is 39 children, local children playing in this fiction film.
So you got 39 local children to be in the film. Oh, that's did they have fun?
They have a lot. We all had a good time. Yes. They were really, it was first time they saw camera because this is a village within the town that is quite far away, and they have never seen camera before, so it was like an interesting experience and a game for them. Yes.
That's exciting. And have you shown your family this film yet?
Yes, the film in May 2016 we screened first in Cannes, and then in Montreal World Film Festival. Then Oldenburg, Chicago International Children's Film Festival, Clermont-Ferrand Short Film Festival. Now we're here.
That is exciting. First film, first screenplay. You went to Cannes already. Now you're at Cinequest. This is exciting for you. And where are you going to take this film? Are you going to take this film further? Are you going to make a feature out of it, or are you working on another project now?
Yeah, I'm already working on another project, and this year I hope to have 2 shorts. One is actually docu-art of the place that is going to be flooded. I'm trying to make a visual documentary before we lose the place, but there's another fiction coming also, which I'm going to shoot, and then hopefully the feature.
Great. Well, this is super exciting. Congratulations, and enjoy Cinequest.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Coffee Version. What is Coffee Version? Tell us more about it.
Coffee Version is a short film about a kid who tries coffee for the first time, and he basically goes on the psychedelic acid trip, and it's filled with, coffee beans, Starbucks women, and it's completely magical.
Starbucks women.
Yeah, there's some animated stuff with spinning stars on chest, and it's PG-13 though. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Okay. And is this a VR animated?
No, it's 2D, but there's a lot of animation in it. So we used like stop motion, we used 2D animation and some 3D animation. So it's kind of like it's very different for us.
And where did the story come from?
The story kind of came from my brother and I. I'm a coffee addict by nature, and he's actually never tried coffee before. So it was about my insecurities and his fears. We kind of brought them together and made this fantasy film about a kid trying coffee for the first time.
Very cute. And since it's an anime, how long did the animation process take?
So it was a 2-day shoot, but the animation took about 2 months. So yeah, it took a while. Yeah.
And when you say shoot, was it drawn out or was this like clay animation?
Okay. So what we did is there's a live action portion, which is the first part. And it's live action when the kid takes the coffee. But then once he takes the coffee, it goes into his imagination, and that's where the animation comes in. So we did a lot of green screen, a lot of practical effects, but also stop motion, 3D, a lot of other things.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, Painless, what is the story about? How did it come about?
Painless is a psychological drama about a guy who can't feel physical pain, and he's trying to find a cure, and he ends up getting involved with people that he shouldn't in order to do that.
Okay, and where was the film mainly shot?
It's a split between Brooklyn, New York, and Rhode Island. We cheated a lot of locations, so they're outside of New York, they go in a door, and all of a sudden they're in Rhode Island inside. And hopefully no one ever notices that.
Great. And who's a part of your cast, I guess, and how did the casting process go for you guys?
Well, our film stars Joey Klein. He's been in a number of films. He was in The Vow and American Gangster and the 12 Monkeys TV series. And he just had a sensitivity that was right for the role, and he also was very believable as a scientist and a kind of an alienated, tortured soul. He was able to really bring a lot to that. So, and then Evelina Marie, who plays Shani, we were really struggling to find that role of somebody that can personify that character, and I think she just did a brilliant job. So we knew right away that they were both the ones for the roles. Yeah. Great.
And is this your guys' first festival?
This is our world premiere.
Yay! World premiere.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're excited to be here. It's our first Cinequest as well.
Great. Cinequest is an awesome film festival. You guys are very much going to enjoy it.
Excellent.
What inspired you, besides the story and the script and working with these lovely gentlemen here, what inspired you for the composing of the music?
Well, the score's mostly electronic, and it's finding the place between the soul and science, somewhere in between the soul and science, because the main character is trying to find the source of pain, who's born with an inability to feel pain. And he does fall in love, and so there is emotional heartache pain, but the score tries to bridge the worlds between the soul and science, basically. That was my inspiration.
Very cool. This is an interesting film. I really want to see this. And after Cinequest, where are you guys going?
We're going to the Phoenix Film Festival after this, and we'll see from there. We're waiting to hear for some big ones.
Yeah, we got a lot of submissions in, so we're excited to get this rolling.
Great. Well, congratulations on your world premiere, guys, and enjoy Cinequest.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm Robert Emmett Kelly, and I'm an associate producer with Glowworm.
Glowworm. So is Glowworm a feature or a short film?
Glowworm is a short. It's being shown over in Redwood City next Saturday, our premiere, and it's my premiere as an associate producer.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much.
Now, what is Glowworm about?
Glowworm is about a young woman who inherits a farm when her grandfather dies, and she has to come up and settle things. She doesn't really remember her grandfather very much, but she has a good fond memories of him. And she meets the farmhand, and she says, it's going to close the place, and it's about coming to grips with the death of her grandfather and what she's going to do with the farm. It's a lovely little story, it really is. And I kind of stumbled into the production. I started on craft services, buying dinner for everybody. And then as time went by, I was on set. They needed creepers for walking on ice. So I ran off and bought 10 creepers for the crew. And then I got a credit as intrepid audience member. And then as this festival came up, the sound sync wasn't complete. And we couldn't get someone to finish sound sync. So I said to the producer-director, Lena, I can do that. You can? Yeah, sure. So I took it on, and then I got it home, and I was like, uh-oh, what did I get myself into here? And it turned into 4 days later, I had finished the sound sync, called her up and said, it's all done. She's like, really? I said, yeah, really. And then I just kind of did a few more production things and ended up with an associate producer credit and an assistant editor credit.
Well, you should for doing all that work. That's amazing.
It was fun. I've learned more about video and film in the last 2 months than I ever knew before.
Well, it seems like you have the skill. Are you going to continue moving forward in this career?
So I think I really do like the. I don't know. It's editing. It's 3 o'clock already. That kind of thing. So I don't know that I want to continue to burn the candle at both ends. But then again, I got to make the last third of my life as much fun as the first 2/3. So that's what I'm planning to do.
Very true. Now, where was this film shot, and how long was the shooting process?
It was shot in Dublin, New Hampshire, which is very near my house, and it took about 3 days to shoot it, and forever to cut it.
Well, congratulations on your world premiere. Congratulations on your first film. This is exciting. Cinequest is a great film festival to have your film in. Yep. And I hope you enjoy the festival.
I will. I'm very excited to be here. This is a wonderful experience. Thank you very much. It's lovely to meet you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth J. Lee Davis, and I'm with the short film Petite Mort, which I wrote and directed. It's about sex, death, and pie, and a girl who discovers herself with her lover in the forest, and something goes terribly wrong. Yeah, that's all I should probably say.
This seems like an interesting story. Where did this story come about?
It came from me trying to deal with some stuff about like sex for the first time as a teenager and not really being able to talk to anybody about it and all of the feelings that was involved with that. And I just sort of tried to imagine it in like a fantasy world. It's very metaphorical and surreal and leaves you with a feeling about what I went through.
And is this a live action fantasy or is it animated?
Yeah, it's a live action fantasy film. And it's in Mindbenders, the shorts program, with other. So they tell me they're strange movies, so I'm excited to see the other shorts that are going to be here.
Awesome. And where was this filmed?
It was shot in Sequoia National Park. Yeah. So you could point the camera anywhere and it would be beautiful.
And how long did the filming process take?
I had been working on the film for about 1.5 years, but the shoot was over 2 days.
And how was the casting process for you to cast your actor?
It was difficult because I saw a lot of people, but I ended up going with 2 actors who I did not audition. One of them because I knew him from the Amazon TV show Transparent, and the other actress because I worked with her on The Diary of a Teenage Girl as an assistant. I got to know her, so I just asked them to be in it, and they said yes, which was great. And I love them. I think they were perfect for it.
And is this your world premiere? Have you been to Cinequest before?
I've not been here, and this is the world premiere, so I'm very excited.
Well, congratulations. I look forward to seeing it.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
My name's Alex Lashrus, and I'm the writer, director, and editor of Cadence.
I'm Max Chadburn, the actor, or a actor in Cadence.
I'm Nicolás Ayerbe Barona, and I'm the producer of Cadence.
I'm Arun Fryer, producer.
Now, Cadence, since you're the writer, how did the story come about? What inspired you to make this film?
Well, we started off probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and we did actually a 20-minute short to begin with, and then we worked it into a feature. So it was kind of a long process of slowly starting off with a short and then sort of working it into a larger picture. But yeah, it sort of evolved very, very slowly and naturally.
And what's the story about?
The story is about a farm girl that is taking care of her parents' farm while they're away on vacation, and she's terrorized by these hallucinations. And she's dating this pop star boyfriend that she has, and his groupies actually crash at the farm, and they end up terrorizing her. And at one point in the film, things kind of go awry, and it takes a real twist. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but yeah, there's basically there's a major twist in the film that makes you sort of reevaluate the whole narrative.
So it's definitely a thriller, scary movie. Now, do you play the actress in the film?
I do play the lead, Cadence, yeah.
And now, how was it taking on this role of this movie?
It was really difficult. It was a challenging role for sure for many reasons. I think there's a lot of anxiety and stress in playing in a horror film. And this was my first lead in a feature, and also taking on something so involving. So it was, it was that. It was a lot of reality kind of shifting and dealing with like confronting your sense of perception and self and identity. So it was hard, but it was totally worth it, and it's been a really amazing journey with these guys. I've felt safe, and I'm really lucky to have these people behind me.
And where was the film shot mainly, and how long was the shooting process?
The film was actually all shot on my parents' farm, where actually I grew up as a child. So it was...
Now I know where the story came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like us as producers, we're trying to think about ways of making it work, and shooting all in one location. No company moves is a very easy way to reduce costs and just make a story work. So we just basically shot it all in one location, and it worked out great. Yeah.
And how did you convince these two fellows to work with you?
Well, Nick, we originally started off on a different project, but we wanted to shoot a sci-fi thriller at first, and then it just evolved into Cadence. And then from there, Arun came on board. He saw the 20-minute cut, and he loved it. And he said, I want to be a part of this. I got to be a part of this. And that's sort of where we took it off from there.
And is this the first film festival Cadence has been in?
No, so we premiered at Vancouver International Film Festival back in October. And that was awesome because that's our hometown. So we had a home premiere, and it was great. We won the Must See BC Award, which is sort of like the award for the most anticipated local film. And that was really encouraging for us. And now we're having our US premiere at Cinequest, and we're super excited to be here.
Great, and it's your first time at Cinequest?
First time at Cinequest for sure, and we're just excited to see what American audiences have to say about Cadence, for sure.
Yeah, we're really excited to finally come down to California, come down to America, and show the audience what Vancouver filmmaking is all about.
Very cool. Enjoy the festival, guys. You guys are going to love it.
Thank you so
much. Great.
My name is Michael Jackson. Can wait for the laugh, right? So my film is Brian Mickler, and I'm the director and the writer of the film.
And what's the film called?
It's called Brian Mickler. Yeah, this is the flyer.
I think that stumped me because it's a name.
It is a name. Yeah.
It is a name.
It's the name of the protagonist in the film. Yeah.
Now, what is the film about?
So the film is about a man in Harlem, a young man who lives with his mother in a small studio apartment, and his journey kind of to discover that he has to learn to heal himself before he can heal others. So he dresses as a doctor in order to try to get sort of medical assistance for his mother who has a heart condition. So he really wants to heal her, but he has also a delusional disorder because he's not a doctor. He just dresses like one, and he masquerades as a doctor in Harlem. So the film also touches on some of the issues of gentrification that are happening in Harlem. Brian Mickler is a black man representing kind of the traditional neighborhood, and then there's a lot of other classes and races moving into Harlem now that clash with the traditional residents. So it's actually one film in a series of shorts that I made that deal with this issue of gentrification and kind of the lack of the slow loss of heritage of Harlem as a historic neighborhood of black people.
And what got this project going? What was the passion behind this project?
So my name is Michael Jackson, which is strange. I also lived in a foreign country. I lived in Argentina, so I speak Spanish. So Harlem has an aspect of black culture, an aspect of Latino culture, an aspect of white culture as well, because traditionally the president used to live there. Washington, Hamilton had a huge estate in Harlem. But ultimately it's become, over the ages, jazz, hip hop, and blues. So because of that, I think I have been. I was interested in it as a young kid, listening to those different types of music. There's a film out now about James Baldwin. Have you heard of it? It's called I'm Not Your Negro. It is now in theaters all over the country. James Baldwin was born in Harlem at the hospital, and he is one of the kind of first pinnacle writers to discuss issues of race and class and sexuality in kind of like contemporary pop culture in a way, literary culture. So I had read some of his works growing up, and all of those reasons kind of prompted me to live in Harlem when I moved to New York 3 years ago. Yeah.
Great. And how long did the filming process take?
So the filming took like a year and a half. I mean, it was a long time. We had the luxury of working with actors because they all live in New York. So there's so many actors in New York. It's really easy to kind of champion the resources of the community. And people often, our main star lived in Harlem actually. So that wasn't a prerequisite in the casting to ensure that the actors lived locally. But it turned out that it did assist in the authentication, I think, of the stories, and it definitely helped to inspire the community of Harlem to support our work. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. And is this your world premiere?
This is our world premiere.
Well, congratulations on this festival and enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Romina Schwedler, and I am the writer, director, producer of The Visit. The Visit.
The Visit.
Yes, The Visit, playing in the Mindbenders program.
Oh, great. Wonderful. So it's a short film.
Yeah, short film. 13 and a half minutes, starring Academy Award nominee June Squibb and Sean Mayer. So, wonderful cast. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yes, very.
So what is the story about? Can you give us a small synopsis?
It's a conversation between a man and his aging mother at the visiting area of a public hospital. And throughout this encounter, this man must face for the first time a very disturbing and unimaginable truth about his life. So that's it.
And what was your inspiration behind this film?
My inspiration was actually a conversation with my father on the phone. He was telling me about my great aunt, who at the time was 102 years old. And she was starting to create alternative realities in her mind because of her advanced age. She had pretty much lost everybody from her generation. So she had, she was saying that she was going to go to this party where she was going to meet her parents and this friend of hers and all these amazing things. And I was just basically fascinated by these mechanisms that human beings have, to cope with grief in certain situations. So throughout my conversation with my father, I just came up with an idea. Something sparked in my mind. I said, I got to write a story about this.
Very cool. And how did you get these leading actors in your film? These top actors?
Well, June Squibb, I had actually, as I was on my second or third draft of my screenplay, I watched Nebraska. And she was so amazing in it that her performance really lingered in my mind. And as I was writing this role, I just kept seeing her face, hearing her voice, and I said, I really want this actress to play this. It would be a dream. It was like an unimaginable dream for me at that time. But after I finished the final draft, I said to myself, why don't I try to reach out to her agent and see what happens? So I did, but I didn't hear back. But then a few weeks later, I found out that my previous film, my debut micro short film, was at another festival, the Burbank International Film Festival, where she was going to be, out of all actors in the world, she was going to be presenting at the award gala. Yeah, so I just figured this is destiny, you know, I have to meet her. So I put my screenplay in a flash drive and I stuck it to my business card and I approached her and I said, you have to read my script, please. And she was super nice and she read it and she sent me this email a few weeks later saying that she had loved the script and that she was going to not only do it, but she was going to donate her time. That's how much she liked it. So very, very honored. And then Sean Mayer came as a consequence of having June Squibb because I placed an ad for the leading role, for his role, and you know, hundreds of actors really like responded because, you know, looking for, you know, just an actor in New York City, you can imagine. That's where we shot actually, in New York. So I was going through the callbacks and the, you know, the whole, going through the motions of getting that role cast, and one of the last days when I was about to decide between the final couple of actors, I get a call from his agent, from Sean Mayer's agent, saying that he loves June Squibb and that this casting call caught his attention because of that and that he wanted to read the script. So I'm very excited. I sent it to him and he loved the script and he also donated his time to this project. So I could not be more grateful and honored to have these two amazing actors in my film. And I could not be more grateful and honored to be here at Cinequest.
Is this your first time at Cinequest?
Yes, yes. And it was a big goal of mine, so I'm very, very pleased to be here.
Well, congratulations. I look forward to seeing your film.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I noticed the cinematography. How in the world did you make the labs, the drug dealer situations look so realistic? And I wanted to come back for more. Who would like to respond to that?
I'll take that. Hi, I'm Liam. I'm the cinematographer. Yeah, it was a challenge, and Jordan and I spent a long time planning out actually how the progression of Henry's lab evolves throughout the scenes. It actually gets darker as the scenes go on because we spend so much time in there that, you know, how do we keep it interesting? And so, you know, we talked a lot about how we keep the camera moving and how we change the lighting up to follow up the mood. So, yeah, we spent a long time in advance sort of planning out and drawing up sort of mood boards for the look of the film.
We did a lot in color too to like darken it as things got worse and brighten it up and toward the end make it go more neutral, especially, you know, when he makes a decision to finally leave town and stuff. So Liam and I spent months talking about what we're gonna do with that. So,
Young Henry, what was this like for you?
It was a great experience, and this is my first time in the set, in being in a movie, and it was just so fun, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys, and yeah.
How about some questions from the audience over here?
I thought your two leads were perfectly cast. Where did you find them?
Where did you find the leads?
Yeah, it was really difficult. You know, Anthony and I and Nick, we had a lot of long days and nights and arguments trying to, you know, we were so determined to get good actors, which could be really hard to do at this budget range, and you know, when you're not a huge movie. And we had so many months of auditions in New York, Rhode Island, Boston, Skype calls in LA, Canada, like all over the place. And it went on forever. It was very daunting. It seemed like we were never gonna find the right people. And it was really at like the 11th hour that we found both of them. And I actually remember with Evelina, who I love in the movie, we had been trying to cast her for like 6 months, and I was just never quite satisfied. And we saw some really good actors, but it just wasn't quite what I wanted. And we were holding an audition in Rhode Island, and there was this really nice young woman outside waiting to audition. And right before she came in, a friend of mine had shown me Ev's reel. And the second I looked at her reel, I mean, I feel bad saying this, but I was like, why even bother auditioning the girl out there? Because I just knew instantly she was the one.
And how about Henry?
Yeah, it was the same thing. I mean, I think we ultimately, our first conversation with him was on Skype, because he lives in Toronto. And again, the thing that he brought to it in the audition that nobody else really did is, there are some other really great performances, but he brought a real sensitivity and a heart to it that I felt just really opened up the story in a way that was great. So I also knew right away that he was. You know, something I'll say about Henry, about Joey, is he's an amazing actor. Him and I fought a lot. I felt like, it's true, I felt like I was in a boxing match. We went toe to toe every day on set. It drove the crew crazy, but he was right a lot. I think I was right a lot, and I think ultimately what you see is a result of that. So I think it's just kind of the way it had to be.
Interesting thing about Joey, a week before production, we lost him. His agent called and they couldn't get his work visa approved. So we spent the entire contingency of our budget paying lawyers and getting things pushed through to get him to be able to come to the US to film the movie.
All that happens behind the scenes. How about other questions here?
Where did you pick the name Henry?
Where did you pick the name Henry?
That has nothing to do with Henry Jekyll?
I don't know who that is. It's just, who is that?
Jekyll and Hyde. Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, no, it was just a name that, it had I don't know, for some reason that name has a sensitivity to it. It just seemed right.
Jekyll's first name, Henry? I thought that's why you were doing it.
We might use that.
Yeah, that's why, that's exactly why. Yeah.
Now that I think of it.
Do you have a science degree or science background?
Do you have a science background?
I have no science background at all. I'm a film guy. I'm barely educated. The script took a really long time to do, and one of the reasons is because there's so much science in it, and so much research that was needed. And I actually ended up bringing on a team of science advisors, and I actually had to put the script down for a year because one of the big problems I ran into with the writing is I needed a big plot point, and you know, there's nowhere left for us to go because the NTRK1 gene was always, in anything you research, that was the cause of this disease. And you know, I didn't want to. I wrote a couple of drafts where I just kind of tweaked the science a little bit, and it just didn't feel right to me. I just couldn't. I couldn't put a script forward like that. And I remember I was in China working on a documentary of mine, and I came across this article that said, this one guy in this one paper said, well, maybe not all of them, definitely some of them it's the NTRK1, but maybe some of them it's also this SCN9A gene. And I was like, oh, this is interesting, and I sent it to my lead science advisor, Hugo, and he's like, yeah, he's like, this is really, really smart. And it tied in perfectly to Andrew's condition because it's all sodium channel related. So I ended up, the draft like wrote itself after that. It was like a 2-week process. And it's funny, the funny thing now is if you research the condition, almost everything you'll find says SCN9A, and like every once in a blue moon you'll see NTRK1. So it's kind of switched.
One more question over here.
I want to know, from your first idea to getting the film finished, how long did that take?
Timing.
A long time.
What's the long time?
You mean from like inception?
Yeah.
A couple of years, definitely a few years. I mean, it was, you know, just the scripting process, like I said, took a really long time, a couple of years, and then raising the money. You know, these guys and us, we worked together for a couple of years, just putting the development of it together, finding the talent was a huge process, and then post was a really long process too. I think there were some things that definitely changed in the shooting that needed to be solved in the edit, and you know, it's a learning experience. It was definitely a learning experience for me. And one thing I really needed to make it work was just time in the edit. So I think we just really took our time with that. And then the opening of the movie with Robert, you know, I actually waited till after we shot everything and even edited a really fine cut before I went and shot that, because I knew so much had changed on set that I wanted to make sure we were telling the right story, you know, in that opening. So
this is really like the little film that could. Like we had no money.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what we had to pull off and the favors we had to call in to get this made. And it's a credit to Liam and Eileen and Jordan and everybody in the creative end that made this film look like we had a budget. We did.